Okay, today we're going to do it's called the natural minor scale. We talk about relative scales. And so you know that a major scale is when music sounds happy at using major scale, and it's using this pattern. And to build a major scale, we use that pattern of two whole steps and one half step, and then three whole steps and a half step. For a minor scale, you use a different pattern of whole steps and half steps. But I'm going to show you the easier way to do it. So when I do it in my head, here's what I think. Now I know a half step is the note right next to it, whether it's black or white, and a whole step is the two notes away, whether it's black or white. And I know that C major, or I know that a major scale is those two half steps plus two whole steps plus a half step, and three whole steps plus a half step. And I know that C major has no sharps or flats. Now to go from the minor, find what the relative minor scale is. And we say it's related because they use the same sharps. And you'll see what I mean in this. So what I do for this, I have I have the major scales above on this smaller staff, and I have a C major scale. What I want to do to get its relative minor scale, is just start and end on the sixth degree, the sixth note of the C major scale. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So my minor scale that's related to my relative, if I say what's the relative minor scale of C major, it would be A minor. And it uses the same sharps or flats as C does. So I have A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. And there's my relative minor scale. It starts on the sixth degree and ends on the sixth degree of the major scale, and it uses the same amounts of flats or sharps. So let's keep going around the scale. We went around the circle of fifths, and we know the next major scale. So G major, in order to get a scale with one sharp, we would go up 5 to G major, and then we sharp the seventh degree. We get the G major scale, and it has an F sharp. Notice we didn't change anything for the minor scale. We just used the same notes in a different order. So, I could go A to B is a whole step, B to C is a half step, a whole step, half step, whole step. So, well, whole. So, in order to write a minor scale, I could go in my head whole, half, half, whole, or I could have the major scale in my head and go to the sixth degree. Once you get to know your scales, this just becomes natural. And I said we use the sixth degree of the major scale, and we're just going to go around here. So here's the G, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So my relative minor of relative minor of G major would be E major. So I have E, then my next note would be F sharp because I have an F sharp here. Then I would just go up the scale, G, A, B, C, D, back to E. Same notes, that F is sharp, same thing. Continuing with the circle of fifths. Now next we would have a D major scale. And if I go up the sixth note, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, its relative minor is going to be B. And I want to use the same notes. B, I have a C sharp, D, E, I have an F sharp, G, A, back to B. And it just kind of moved over. You can see it right here. So let me go to the next page so we can keep going around. And let me make sure that you can see this. We have our next scale. Oops, let me go up a little more. You can hopefully now, yes, see, here's our A major scale. And I want the relative minor. So I go to the sixth degree. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's going to be an F sharp minor scale. And you can see that it's going to have three sharps, the same sharps as an A major would have. So F sharp, G sharp, A. B is not yet sharp. C is sharp. D, E, F sharp, back to F sharp. And let's keep going. I just want to make sure you can still see these. I think we got three of them on here. Okay, so we have an E major scale. What's the relative minor going to be? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's going to be C sharp minor. So I'm going to do, we have C sharp, and we have a D sharp, and this is related to the E minor scale, so the E is going to be the same, but we have an F sharp and a G sharp. A is still the same, B is still the same, and then back to C sharp. Let's go to the next scale. We have a B major scale, and I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let me make sure you can see this one. Yes. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going to do a G sharp minor scale, and it's going to have the same sharps as B. So hopefully I can do this right. So G sharp, it's going to have A sharp, B, C sharp, D sharp, E is still going to be natural, F sharp, G sharp. And I think I need to scroll down a little bit so you can see this next scale. Yes, there we go. So we have an F sharp major, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The relative minor is going to be a D sharp minor. So let me put the D sharp in, and then the E's are now sharp, and the F's are sharp, the G's are sharp, the A's are sharp, the B is still the same, the C's are sharp, and of course the D is sharp. And you can see it just moved over to the next page again. Here's the D sharp. We're going to move over to this next page and see if we can keep going. How far we go before we get to something. Maybe we'll end up with a triple sharp, who knows? And once we do that, kind of just get out of it. No, we're not going to deal with triple sharps. There isn't really such a thing. It's not really necessary. Make sure this is centered so you can see it. Okay, looks good enough. Now we have a C sharp major scale. What's the relative minor going to be? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. A sharp. And it's going to have the same notes as C sharp major. So, if you remember, when we were doing major scales, C major had no sharps. C sharp major had all sharps. And if the relative minor of C major is A minor, and A minor has no sharps, then A sharp minor, related to C sharp major, is going to also have all sharps by now. And I know this is a lot of major and minor, so you might want to go back and review these. Oops, let me lower that. There we go. B, I think I could still make it sharp. Yeah, okay. B sharp, and then everything is going to be sharp here. So C sharp, D sharp, E sharp, F sharp, G sharp, A sharp. Now here's where it might get a little tricky. We have a G sharp major scale. The relative minor is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's going to be E sharp minor. So I'm going to start with E sharp minor. And now look, our F is going to be double sharp. So let me put that in here. Whoops. Highlight the note. Put the F sharp in, or sorry, F double sharp. And then we know that everything else was going to be sharp anyway. So G sharp, A sharp, B sharp, C sharp, D sharp, back to E sharp. And let's keep going. Make sure you can still see the third staff. I think we can. So we have a D sharp. What is the, I forgot to delete this. Let's delete that right now. We have a D sharp, and what's the sixth degree going to be? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's going to be a B sharp minor scale. So we're going to have B sharp. And if I look, now my C is double sharped because we're just using the same notes. C double sharp. Then we have a D sharp, E sharp, and F double sharp, G sharp, A sharp, and B sharp. So far we're still good. Let's scroll down a little bit and do the next scale. Can we see that? Yes, we can. So we have an A sharp major scale. What's the sixth degree? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going to have an F double sharp scale. And I think we can do that because we're just using the same notes that are already there. So F double sharp. And then we have a G double sharp. Whoops, let's go back to this. Just harder to do on this because the double sharps are on a different screen than the regular sharps. Then we have an A sharp, we see our B sharp, we see our C's are double sharped. Then we go back and have our D sharps, our E sharps, and back to our F double sharp. And again, it just moved the screen over. You can see it over here. Let's see if we can do these last two. I don't know if we can. Let's try them. Make sure you can see it. You can move this one down a little bit more. All right, so an E sharp major scale, what would the 6th degree be? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're going to have a C double sharp minor scale. And I know a lot of this can get really annoying for some people having all these, but I kind of enjoy the... So you can see that D is also double sharp. So I think it'll let me put it in there. Whoops. Let's go back, put that D, that C sharp. We have D double sharp. We have regular E sharp. We of course have F double sharp, G double sharp, A sharp, B sharp, and back to the C double sharp. Let's see if we can do this with F, and I imagine we can, because remember, we're not raising any notes, we're just putting them in the different order. The 6th degree, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. A G double sharp minor. So G double sharp, and over here we see that A is also double sharp, and we see that B is just a regular sharp. We know that C is already double sharped, and D is double sharped, and E is even double sharped. F is double sharped, and then back to the G, which is double sharped, and there are all our natural minor scales.